we actually have weights that we can add to the pendulum to increase the mass of the pendulum, therefore increasing the energy that's available for breaking samples. We have a range of weights, starting with our smallest weights, which would bring this up to around about 5 joules of energy, all the way up to our heaviest weights, which would obviously bring this up over 20 joules of energy. The weights come as a set. Each set consists of 2 weights, which bolt into the 2 spaces on the pendulum designed for the weights. This central area here and these 3 small spots do not have weights and will never have weights put on them. They're simply there to allow the pendulum to have the correct center of percussion and to meet the requirements of the ASTM and ISO standards. So to put weights onto the pendulum is a very simple process. The first thing that I would strongly recommend is you take a scrap sample or a piece that you can place into the vice body down here and just place it into the vice body. Take the pendulum, release it, and gently lower it down onto the sample that you have here so that it's located. It's much easier to put weights in when they're at this level than up here, especially when we're talking about the heaviest weights. One of the risks is if you're working in this area and you drop a weight, significant damage could occur. If you're working much lower down, you're less likely to drop the weight, plus the damage, if you were to drop one, will be far less. So when you take a look at the weights, you can see that there are 2 bolts on each weight. 1 bolt from this side and 1 bolt from the other side. If you take the 2 bolts out, you will find that the weights are actually identical. There's a clearance hole and a threaded hole on each one. So the plan is to take the 2 weights, take the clearance hole from one side and the threaded hole from the other side and match them up, and then 1 bolt will pass through from this side and 1 bolt will pass through from this side, clamping it around the actual pendulum. So into this space right here, we take our weight, we place our rear weight in, and there is a recess to allow it to fit inside the pendulum. We take our front weight and we place it in the same location. We align our holes so that we can actually clamp the 2 together, and we take a bolt, place it inside the weight, and we tighten it up to allow us to clamp the weight in place. Once we've done the front, we then take the second bolt and we can place it in from the rear, allowing us to tighten it into place. Now, this part now is acting as a brake. This pendulum has a lot more weight on this side, so the pendulum is not swinging around, it is held in place. One item that you need to be aware of is the weights say keep tight. With the aluminium weights, do not over tighten, but they should definitely be snugged up. With the stainless steel weights, it is always wise to make sure that they are kept tight, especially with the biggest weights. They're unlikely to fall out, but they don't want to be moving around when you're testing. So taking our second weight, and you will always fit 2 weights to a machine for it to meet the requirements, because otherwise the center of percussion moves and all of the timings and so on and so forth are off. So we take our second weight, we place the one in the back, and we place the one in the front, making sure that we align the clearance hole with the threaded on the back. Rotate it to bring them into line, take the bolt, place it in the hole and tighten it up. And then the same for the bolt on the rear. Now, if you have fitted the weights correctly and the pair of weights matches, as these do, they have the same number on them, then what you will find now is that when you release the sample that you were using for holding the pendulum, it hangs pretty much in the same location as it did before. There may be a slight variation because of the variations in weights, but it should still hang in the same location. If it is hanging off at an angle, you have mismatched weights or you do not have the correct weights fitted in the correct locations. Changing the weights is that simple.